When you think about it, it's kind of embarrassing being over 50 and not knowing what you want to do with your life, not knowing what to do next in your life, not having a direction for your life. It's not something you openly want to talk about. Now, when you were 25 or 30 years old, it was okay to not know what you wanted to do with your life. But over 50, how could you not know? In this video, I'm going to tell you why you feel lost and how you can find direction in your life by taking two unusual but very simple steps. I didn't have my first child, my son, until I was 32. My daughter came when I was 33. And up until that point, I had worked in a warehouse for 12 years and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I didn't even think about it because at that point it was just me. I didn't have to think about it. But now I had children and I wanted to spend time with my children. I wanted to raise them. I wanted to be a real father in their life. And working 12 to 15 hours a day in a warehouse, that just wasn't an option anymore. For those next 20 years, I had 9 different jobs. I was married, got divorced, filed bankruptcy, and I was working on my second divorce. I had no clue where I was going in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do or even if I should do anything. As the old people say, I was going from pillar to post. The crazy part is I didn't feel all the time going by. 20 years. I was caught up, trapped in the chaos, in the madness. I was paying bills, paying mortgages, raising my kids, getting them to soccer practice, changing jobs, buying homes, selling homes. I was all over the place. My life was it was just chaos. I didn't even realize what was happening. All of this chaos felt normal. I was in the chaos for so long, for so many years that it seemed normal to me. My grandmother would say, crazy seems normal when you're in a mental institution. If you're watching this video, you're on the other side of 50 and you don't have 20 years to waste. You have to ask yourself, how long can you stay lost? How long can you afford to do nothing? I look back at my life and I have regrets, but you really can't have regrets in your life based on the choices and the decisions you made because those choices and the decisions you made in that moment were made based on what you felt and what you knew at that particular time. So you didn't have the wisdom of hindsight to make those choices and decisions. I wish I could get back those nearly 24 years where I felt lost, where I didn't know what I wanted to do and I didn't know who I wanted to be, but you can't get that time back. Time is something that you can't recover. For me, those years were very painful, but they were necessary because they shaped me into the person that I am today. They made me more intentional, more focused, more determined. In those years, I discovered how to create a life that I wanted to live, not a life that I believed I was supposed to live. Along the way in those 24 years, I became aware that I needed to do something. And if you're watching this video, you know that you need to do something as well. You may have tried a new job. You might have tried a new career. You might have tried journaling or meditation or a new hobby or tried making new friends. You might even tried calling on God, but nothing seems to work. You're honestly looking for a solution. That's not the problem. The problem is the solution that you've been led to believe, the solution that you've been told is going to help you find direction in your life. That solution is what's actually keeping you stuck. It's actually what's keeping you lost. By the way, if you're feeling lost or you don't have a direction in your life right now, or maybe you do know what you want to do next, but you're afraid or you don't know exactly what steps to take next, click on the link in the description below and set up a one-on-one call with me. We can take those steps and we can talk through what you need to do to bring back that exciting, fulfilling, happy, meaningful life that you so desire. This is going to surprise you. It may make you feel like you've been following the wrong path in life. Maybe you wasted some time in your life. As a society, we uphold people who have done or accomplished certain things or achieved certain things. We hold them to a high standard and we look up to them, and we should. But The issue with that is we take the thing that they accomplished or the thing that they achieved and we assign it to them. We look at that thing or that accomplishment or that achievement as their purpose in life, their meaning in life. For example, we look at Martin Luther King as being a civil rights leader. We look at Shakespeare as being a writer or a playwright. We look at Einstein, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs. We look at all these people and their accomplishments, their achievements, and we assign a thing to them. And what this does, it trains you to believe that you were designed to do a specific thing. Like you were born to do a thing. You were born for a specific purpose. And you begin to spend your life looking for that one thing. You begin to search for that one thing, the thing that you believe is your purpose, that thing that's going to make you great, that thing that's going to make you magnificent, because that's the way, once again, you were trained and you were taught and you were led to believe. And because you're focused on that one thing, because you're focused on that singular purpose, you tend to ignore everything else that's around you, everything that you don't see as being your purpose. You ignore it, you overlook it. And the truth is, you have no idea what your purpose is. You have no idea why you were born. You have no idea, or no one has any idea why they were born. You can never know your purpose. You will never know your purpose. So stop looking for one thing. You are a human being, the most complex form of life in the universe. You have the capacity and the capability to create anything that's in your imagination. You can create anything and everything. So why would you resign yourself to believing that you're only here, you only have one purpose, or you're here to do one thing in your life? Stop looking for a purpose and start living with purpose. So here's what I want you to do. There are 3 areas of your life, of everyone's life. These areas are what I call the 3 essentials: health, wealth, and relationships. Everyone wants to be healthy. Everyone wants to have money, and everyone wants to love, and everyone wants to be loved. So to find that direction in your life, I want you to pick one area or one of these 3 essentials: health, wealth, finances or money, and relationships. Pick one of those areas of your life. So the area that you pick, you want to pick one that has the biggest impact on your life, the one that's going to make the most significant change in your life. So use me, for example. In those years that I was in my wilderness, that I was lost, I was in a dead-end marriage, dead-end relationship. I was essentially broke. I had never had more than $50 in my checking account. And I was overweight by probably 40 or 50 pounds. So I chose, not knowing any better, to pick all of the categories. I worked on my being overweight, I worked on my finances, and I worked on my relationship. And it was overwhelming. So I don't suggest you do that. Now that you have your one area or your one essential, I want you to create a step or a task, something that's very easy, something that would allow you to get started immediately. So let's say health is one of the 3 essentials that you chose for yourself. Instead of you saying your first step would be something like meal prep for an entire week, that's a big step. That's a big task, and it's going to overwhelm you, and you're going to get lost in that. So instead of doing something that big, you should take a very small step, something like walking 10 minutes a day. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. There's no best answer. I want you to just keep it simple. Pick one of the 3 essentials, the one that's going to have the most impact on your life, and assign one simple, easy to implement step. For me, whenever I wanted to change something in my life, coming up with a plan was the easiest part for me. I could sit down and I could, over a period of time, come up with the perfect plan in my mind. The hard part for me was implementing or executing the plan. I would sit there and I look at my plan and I would tweak the plan and I would talk about the plan. And what I understood, what I came to learn is that talking about a plan, the only thing that does is that continues the suffering. Doing is what ends the suffering. So I would sit and talk about my plan, and I would tell people about my plan, and I would delude myself into believing that me talking about the plan and altering the plan or changing the plan or tweaking the plan, I would delude myself into believing that I was actually doing something, but I wasn't. I was actually just talking about the plan and I was going nowhere. So once you have your plan, once you have one of the three essentials, and once you have that simple step, implement it. And that's why it's so critical that you focus on just one easy to implement step. Don't overwhelm yourself, because I promise you'll get stuck and you'll end up doing nothing. And you have to ask yourself, how long do you want to suffer? How long or how much longer do you want to be broke or be overweight or to be sick or to be in a bad relationship or to be alone? How much longer do you want to do this? 3 months, a year, 5 years? Don't do that to yourself. You're always telling your children about how short life is and how they need to go out and live their life. Guess what? You're over 50. You better than anyone else knows how short life is, because time is something that's not on your side anymore. You don't have time to waste. Yes, it does hurt to change, but it hurts even more to stay the same. And if you're tired of feeling lost or wasting your life away, click on the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.